to listen to the Lapped Traffic Podcast.
What is up, Lap Traffic Nation? Welcome to episode 250 of the Lap Traffic Podcast. I am your host, the Professor Brandon Crowd. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Hope you're having a fantastic week. Well, we added one more winner to the win column list, which is pretty exciting. Can't wait to get to all that here in just a bit. But before I do, this week's show is brought to you by Angry Brew. Roast the competition. Be the first to the finish line with 5 Lakes Angry Brew. Angry Brew is a massively caffeinated, amazing tasting, high octane power pack fuel that'll get you through the day, all day, every day. It's coffee with a punch. Go to angrybrew.com. Use code LAPPED, LAPPED. Get 10% off your order. You guys, if you've been following on Twitter, you've seen some Angry Brew giveaways, giving away some mugs, some t-shirts, Spencer Boyd autographed hat today, along with some Lap Traffic swag and all that good stuff. Why, if you may ask? Well, that's because to celebrate episode 250, which is dedicated to you guys, the listeners, the followers that have given me a reason to be here for 250 episodes, I've dubbed this week Listener Appreciation Week. So thank you to you guys. Huge props for all the follows, all the retweets, all that good stuff. And I'm happy to be able to return the favor and giving some stuff away throughout the week. So started on Sunday. Going to run through Friday. I'll be honest, Friday's giveaway is going to end early in the afternoon so that I can get to the post office and get everything shipped out and all that good stuff. So keep tuned to Twitter every day at Lap Traffic PC for new giveaways and fun ways to go about winning prizes and all that good stuff. So I'm excited. Oh, man, 250. Man, I'm baffled that this is carried on as strong as it has. But anyways, this weekend, man, hope you guys had a good time. Friday, friend's birthday, went to the old stomping grounds, which was fun to see some old friends and all that good stuff. And you guessed it, I got another round of golf in. I am taking advantage. I don't have a round planned this weekend, but I've got a huge golf outing that I'm playing in next week with Yunker Motorsports are going to be up in town, which is awesome. It's the Freddie the Pizza Man's autism annual autism golf outing, which is awesome. I played in it last year. It was incredible, so much fun, and am looking forward to that coming up in a couple weeks. And then Sunday, just plopped my butt on the couch and watched some racing because it rained all day. So there's that. Hope you guys enjoyed last week's show with Landon Castle, Dustin Albino. If not, you haven't checked it out, go check it out. And yeah, I'm excited. I've gotten the Jayski show caught up last week and the listener call-in show tonight with you guys to help celebrate episode 250, which is awesome. So those are you guys are the guests tonight, which is awesome. Got a lot of Lap Traffic diehards to talk to tonight, which is awesome. And then a special guest at the end of the show. If you read the title, you saw his name there, so it's not a surprise to you. But if you haven't and you've been around a while, you know who's got to be on every significant milestone show. And he'll close things out later on, which I'm excited about. I'm going to mix in talk about Knoxville, Atlanta with you guys, social media shout-outs, giveaway winners. Both Brian and Aaron will be on to have some fun on episode 250. And, of course, Lucky Dog lap down picks and fantasy towards the end of the show there. So there's all that good stuff. Let's get things rolling. Let's get our first caller on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, to kick off this episode 250, dedicated to you guys, the followers, the listeners. We're going to kick things off with a little truck racing talk and have some fun. Dedicated guy to the Lucky Dog picks each and every week. Big follower, big supporter of the show. Welcome to the Lap Traffic Podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at 1985 Wagner. It's Scott Wagner. What's up, man?
Oh, not a whole lot. Just living a dream.
Yes, sir. Yes, I know it. All right, Matt. Well, let's start with this. First of all, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Thanks for being a avid listener and follower and all that good stuff, man. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. I enjoy it.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. I enjoy seeing the updates to the car on Tuesday nights, man. How's that thing coming?
Oh, it's coming all right. I've been trying to get all the old primer off of it to see how much garbage body work's been done on it, and every panel just reveals more in-depth work that's going to take. So keeps pushing the completion date back.
So there's some hidden Bondo work there, eh?
Oh, yeah.
Well, man, listen, you went to Knoxville, man. So kind of, walk us through that experience. What was the facility like? How was traffic? Give us the rundown on Knoxville before we get to the actual racing parts.
I was actually surprised. I figured, okay, gates opened at 4:30. We got there about 4:00. It wasn't bad. It's like your small town track. There's only so much parking on the track, but all the business around there, throw some money my way. You can park in our parking lot.
Sure.
So it wasn't bad. We parked right across the street from on the backside of turns 1 and 2. So it wasn't too bad of a walk. Small town track. They really weren't set up for it, because the front stretch had 2 restrooms. The rear stretch seats had 1. So, and the lines for concessions and everything, because after each heat race, it'd get busy down there and stuff like that.
Okay.
They need to work on, getting people through quicker on that. But, it was a dirt track. I mean, it just everything, I'm used to seeing growing up around a dirt track here from around Omaha that was there for 50 years before they closed it, so somebody could build a golf course and $500,000 houses that they've done nothing with.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. No bitterness there, was there? Oh, man.
So, but like I said, the racing was good. The only glitch was, and I tweeted the track on there why their lap counter or their position counter wasn't working, and they said the NASCAR scoring system wouldn't work with their system, so they weren't able to have that. And that was like the only glitch there was with it. That they weren't able to use their scoring pylon on between turn 3 and 4 to give lap counts and everything else. Okay. So,
what about from a merch perspective? It was just the trucks, which most of the truck guys don't have their own hauler or anything like that. But was there, what was available to the fans from a sales perspective in that regard?
Donnie Schatz had a trailer there. They had one stand that was race specific, but driver stuff for the regulars, there wasn't anything.
Nothing. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah.
So that was kind of disappointing. I wanted to get me some Spencer Boyd stuff while I was there, but yeah, they didn't have anything.
Sure. All right. So. Well, let's talk about the race. Because the race itself it was interesting. It had a weird start, and then we saw the bleep show of an ending that this thing went till over midnight Eastern time. It was 4 overtime attempts, and it just became, it became what it shouldn't have become, in my opinion. So I'd like your thoughts on the racing and why maybe it ended up being the way it was towards the end.
Yeah, I mean, I know a lot of people are complaining. Well, at the end of the race, they were down to 1 groove. I was kind of surprised that they redid it. Said they were going to do a track prep between the heat races and the feature, which surprised me. They didn't put any water back down on the track. They worked the upper sides of the corners and packed it back down, but they didn't put any additional moisture on the track. Wow. Dust was really never a problem. But like you said, growing up around, at a dirt track, towards the end of the night, every dirt track, you get to a point to where it's pretty much a 1 groove.
Yeah.
And so, okay, yeah, everybody's back down to the bottom. Okay, that's fine. That's what it is. It's dirt track racing. So I didn't see anything out of the ordinary. I know people were complaining about it. It's I go to dirt tracks all the time. Well, one, you go to watch cars that the power to weight ratio is a lot different than what these trucks are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they fail to realize that when you're at that much of a different ratio, like twice the power to weight ratio, they're going to run a little different.
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree.
But I didn't see anything, wrong with what they're doing. And I think towards the end, the drivers get and they're they get on that, let's try and go 3-4 wide all of a sudden, and not paying attention that they're on a dirt track,
right,
not pavement. So their mentality was not dirt track restart mentality. It was pavement mentality, where we can go 3-4 wide, and it doesn't work on a dirt track that way.
Sure. And I also got to think, you're at a dirt track. It is different. You got guys that want to go make a name for themselves to get the win. And you also got guys that needed to maybe make something happen to try to gain some points in the standings if they're trying to maybe, win their way in. We only have one more truck race before the playoffs, and that's at Watkins Glen on August 7th. So some of these guys, not only is it a dirt track that they've never been to, that they're not used to racing on, it's also go time. Like, time is running out if these teams are going to make the playoffs. So I'm sure that added to some of the late race shenanigans a little bit as well.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of our team, like you said, a lot of guys this is our last oval before the playoffs. It's dirt. I'm really not good on the road course, so I gotta shoot for it all here. Yep,
absolutely. Absolutely. And that's, you look at Chandler Smith, who finished second. If he could have picked up that win, he's sitting on the outside looking in right now, so he's about 15 points back from 10th and with Stuart Friesen, so now he's got to go out and have an incredible day and pick up at a minimum 12, 13 spots at the road course, which is going to be a tall order there. But he's one spot away from picking up that win, if it not for Austin Hill there. So, yeah, that's that. To me, that's what we saw. I'm bummed that we got 3 weeks off for the trucks. It's kind of like anticlimactic, in my opinion. Going to have this dirt track, all this excitement, and then boom, 3 weeks off before they start the playoff. Like, I would have rather them at least, get the regular season done before the break or something like that. But
yeah,
not to be. All right, man. Let's see here. What'd you think of the racing in Atlanta? Kyle Busch picking up the win on Saturday. Kurt Busch on Sunday.
Yeah, the Xfinity race, I really didn't see any surprises in there, naturally Kurt, dominating. But, you always hope that something would happen. But, there wasn't anything super out of the ordinary for the Xfinity race that I saw. But on the Cup side, a lot of people, and you see the debate back and forth about Kyle mad at Ross Chastain. He blocked me. He's a POS, he's a melonhead, blah, blah, blah. I just look at it as, Kyle, you're a champion. You've had the same spotter for years. If between the two of you, you don't realize that the 42 is a teammate of the 1, you know what? That's on you guys.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
And Ross said that they told him that Kurt said he prefers the bottom. Well, at the same time, at that time, Kyle's leading. Ross is trying to stay on the lead lap. He didn't slow down to screw Kyle up. He was still going 100% for what his car would run.
Sure.
So he didn't do anything, and Kyle was running top, bottom, middle, and all the turns. There's nothing that says he could have dropped down one lane and went and not had to slow up because of Ross.
Sure. Yeah, no, I'm with it. You got teammates for a reason out there, and sometimes they can help you. And
you get people mad he shouldn't have done it. It's kind of now.
Yeah.
There's been stage breaks where teammates are getting ready to lap a teammate at the end of a stage break, but they've got enough lead they'll slow down so they don't lap their teammate.
Right.
Help their team out.
Hell, look at who was it? Kurt Busch let Joey Logano stay on the lead lap at the end of stage 2 there. Kurt easily could have passed him and did not, Yeah. So, I mean, it's...
But, the teammate thing works back and forth.
Sure.
Yeah. The only time that it really blew up was the whole Michael Waltrip Spingate thing there years ago.
Yeah.
That was completely intentional. Ross didn't slow down on purpose.
Yeah,
they can look at all that telemetry.
Absolutely.
It's just, it was a bad choice by Kyle and Kyle Spotter to not realize that this is a teammate,
Sure. No, I'm with you there 100%. Well, man, thank you so much for being a part of the show tonight. I appreciate you. Where can everybody follow you on Twitter?
It's at Wagner 1985 or at 19, whichever way it is. I can never remember my own Twitter handle.
1985 Wagner, if memory serves correct.
And
go ahead.
The one observation I wanted to make on the new generation cars, which I think is going to be really entertaining, is doing this independent rear suspension on what this is going to do to the cars on the road courses and how they're going to react if they continue to do the Xfinity dirt race at Bristol, on how those cars are going to react having an independent rear suspension.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's going to be very entertaining. Well, at all the tracks, really.
Sure. No, yeah, absolutely. All right, man. Well, thank you again. Thanks for the support. Appreciate you. Thanks for being a part of the show. Can't wait to see more progress on the car, man, and we'll catch you soon.
All right. You take care, Brandon. Thanks for having me on. And everybody, just if you know somebody who ain't following Brandon, you get them on board. Don't be lap traffic.
Yes, sir. I love it. All right, man. We'll catch you later.
Yep. Have a good one.
Thanks, man. We'll see you.
Bye.
Oh, Lap Traffic Nation, great to talk to Scott there. All right, we kind of got the truck talk out of the way there, and let's keep things rolling. Let's get Lap Traffic faithful Mick Rose on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line. I'm very excited. He's one of the OGs of the Lap Traffic podcast, which is so awesome. He helped run the Fantasy League for a couple years. He's a fantasy player, avid contributor. I'm excited to welcome back to the Lap Traffic podcast, Mick at GoDucks42 _Mick. Mick, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great. Glad you had me on.
I'm glad to have you on, man. Thank you so much for all of the support over the last 5 years. I really appreciate it, man. It means the world to me.
Oh, it's been fun.
It has been a crazy ride. Like, I never would have thought in my wildest dreams, how long it would have lasted. How long will it last? Who knows? But it's definitely been fun. But Mick, you're not having fun in Lap Traffic Fantasy this year, are you, Mick?
Well, no. I missed the boat on that one.
Yes, 64th in standings. I think once everybody kind of caught on to the what we're going to have to call the Kyle Larson rule and the caveat that's created, then it really kind of made it hard to gain spots. So hopefully, all the kinks have been found, and next year will be even perfect when the Kyle Larson rule will not be in effect.
Yep, it was. Once you were in that hole, there was no real climbing out. But I didn't help myself either, because I just made bad picks along the way. Even
Oh, that's great.
But,
well, listen, man. So we'll talk a little NASCAR, but I'd love to hear. You're a big fan of racing in general. You are a diehard local track fan. I know you go to a ton of sprint car races, dirt car races. You got a busy week coming up. What are you taking in this week, sir?
Well, on Wednesday night, it's Beloit, Kansas, Solomon Valley Raceway. It'll be the National USAC Midgets, and then the J Huskers. And then just like 10 minutes ago, they announced Chase Elliott will be racing there in a midget. So that's an added bonus.
That's awesome.
Yep. So he'll be showing up to Beloit, which is in the middle of nowhere, Kansas, in a town that's, I don't know, maybe 1,000 people, couple thousand. I do not. There's not very many people there. I think they got a Dairy Queen and a Sonic. Is about it.
What? How many fans? What's the capacity limit there?
Oh, I do not know. It's not very big. It's probably a quarter-mile track in the front stretch. Is the stands, but it'll probably be crowded this week.
Sure.
There's.
As a track promoter, to get word that Chase Elliott's going to come run there, it's like, man, can I change ticket prices for the seats that aren't sold yet? But that's got to be cool. So, will you, I know you'll see a lot of times on social media or whatever at the local tracks, drivers, if it's a big name, maybe just walking around because the fan base isn't so big and all that at the track. Will you, will you stick around? Will you try to get a glimpse, or whatever with anyone like that, or no?
I do not know. I normally could, but I have to work the very next day, and it's an hour-and-a-half trip back.
Fair enough.
So I'll probably do a turn and burn on Wednesday night. I'm leaving work early, and then I'll get there, and then as soon as they're over, I will probably head home. But I think everybody will be going to the pit, so it'll make getting out
easy. You won't have any issue.
Yep, because everybody will go down there to see Chase Elliott. But it's crazy. It's a small little town. I've seen Christopher Bell there, and he's raced there. Brian Clausen, I've seen him win there. There's been so many people that have, it's just middle of nowhere, Kansas. They show up, and I like it. And then on Friday and Saturday in Fairbury, Nebraska, will also be the midgets up there, and we will go up there for 2 nights to watch them. So got a busy week of USAC racing.
That's awesome. So who are you taking with you to all these races?
My wife is going.
Excellent. That's so cool. She get into it too, or is she just along for the ride?
No, well, I doubt she would ever show up at a racetrack if it wasn't for me, but I say, want to do this, and she's awesome. So she's like, let's go do it. And
awesome.
So she goes around and always makes it enjoyable.
That's awesome. That's great. I love that. All right, Mick, what'd you think of this past weekend in Atlanta? Xfinity race, Cup race. What'd you think?
I liked it. I liked the Cup race. I didn't catch the Xfinity race. I caught the very end of it, but I didn't catch the vast majority of it. But the Cup race kept me entertained the whole time. It seemed like some cars, were a little bit faster earlier on, and then some were faster later, and then it was just ongoing, and then at the end, I didn't know if Kyle was ever going to get back around him or how that was all going to play out, but I enjoyed it.
I thought it was great. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a better ending, in my opinion, on a track surface than what we got when you look at, the battle between the Busch brothers, people unhappy after the race, the tore up track. It had an old school race feel to it towards the end for sure, at least. And I thought it was a perfect ending.
Yeah, it was perfect. I know people were, some were happy that Chastain, was there. Some people were angry, So, yeah, it didn't make a bit of difference to me. I figured this racing, people are always going to be in your way. So,
yes,
teammate or not, So
it's funny, like. I get why Kyle was mad, but at the same token, I wonder if they ask him after, because Kyle's always heated, whether it's a good heated because he's won or a bad heated because he finished second. I wonder when they get to New Hampshire this week if they ask him, hey, going back, are you really that upset with what Chastain did? Because isn't that racing? I'd be really curious to see if once he's cooled off, if his perception on that whole thing is different.
Yeah, I don't know. If it wasn't Ross Chastain, the guy is angry if he finishes second.
Absolutely.
So
yes.
he's always fueled. It just made it easier to point it out this time. But the guy likes to win, and I don't have a problem with that.
No,
I think he'd still be angry. He finishes second. It eats at him, and so.
Yeah, you're right. It 100% eats at him. Like, I think he'd almost rather wreck out on lap 1 than finish second in any race.
Yep, I believe so too. Yep, it just eats him up. Yep. Finishing second is his kryptonite. He absolutely hates it.
All right, man. The repave, man. Are you a fan? What do you think?
Well, I knew it was going to have to be repaved at some point. I don't know about I'm not a track expert. I don't know how it's going to play out with the new car. I'll just wait and see. We'll get a new car, new track, and see how it plays out. Either it'll be great, garbage, or somewhere in between. It'll still be a race on a Sunday, and I'll probably watch it.
There you go. See, that's if 80% of Twitter could get that mentality, like, man, we'd all have a lot more fun on social media.
I know. Everybody's there's a lot of angry people.
That there are. All right, Mick. Well, listen, man, thank you so much for being a part of the show tonight. I appreciate that. The support, the follow, the listen, all that good stuff. I hope you have a blast traveling around. Stay safe. Enjoy the races this weekend that you're going to. Where can everybody follow you on Twitter?
Oh, it's Go Ducks. It's Go Ducks 5 now. I changed it to 5 from 42 _ Mick.
We did.
Yeah.
All right. I'll have to make a note of that.
Yeah, it's all good. We switched teams. It happens.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right, Mick. Well, listen, thanks again, and enjoy the racing this weekend.
All right, you too, and thanks for having me on, and continue the great work.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you. We'll talk to you later.
All right, have a good one.
Thanks. All right, Lap Traffic Nation. Oh, I'm so excited. Joining me on the line, take 2 for these guys because someone forgot to turn their mic on. If you follow the Lap Traffic podcast, you probably follow them. It's AJ and Ryan from @Lugs Podcast. Guys, what's going on? How are you?
We are doing great, Brandon. How are you doing? And congratulations on 250 episodes. First time, long timers.
Yes. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Yeah, it is your first time, which is crazy. I apologize. It should not be the case that this is your first time, but I'm happy to have you guys. And first time, long time, man. I know local sports stations in Metro Detroit, 97.1, they're notorious for playing some kind of a drop when somebody says first time, long time, but I'm not that creative. I don't have something lined up like that. So
it's all good. But yeah, Brandon, man, congratulations on 250. Always looking forward to seeing you out at the Tweet Up out at MIS in August.
Yes, sir, man. Are you going to be there?
Yes, I will definitely be there. Hopefully I'll have a couple of the buddies with me. So I know I have one for sure, trying to get 1 or 2 more. And we'll definitely be up at the Tweet Up saying hi. Got a couple bumper stickers probably passing out to a couple fans out there. So definitely looking forward to it. Always catching up with you guys is always great.
Awesome. Yes, sir. If you have a bumper sticker, I need a bumper sticker. So
yes,
that little switch needs to happen for sure.
Yes, the company I work for, it's a sign company. They made a bunch of bumper stickers for us, so I'll get them down to you out at the Tweet Up.
Awesome, I love it, fantastic. All right, guys, let's talk about your podcast for a minute. Where are you guys at? What number? What year were you guys at?
We are, and we started this in 2017. We are now up to episode 105, so we're coming along. When we did our 100th episode celebration, we did drop a thank you to both, your podcast, Lap Traffic Podcast, PTM Racing Podcast, because between you, Brandon, Sherwin, and Rusty, you guys helped us out a ton in getting us started. And I don't think we could be where we are now if it wasn't for the help and support of you guys. So, thank you. Congratulations for the 250. It's been pretty wild.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that, and congrats on hitting that century mark. That was like a big thing. Like for me, I remember, man, I want to get to that century mark and that triple-digit show number, because then that means you got a reason to be there. So that's awesome. I'm glad you guys are here. I feel bad, if I'm being honest. There's just so much in the day that comes across the timeline and stuff. I feel bad because I don't feel like I retweet enough of people's things, whether it's your guys' Sherwin, there's the EG3 podcast. There are so many awesome people that I've gotten to talk to over the last 5 years. And it's just man, if I don't see it, then I don't think about it. And so I feel bad that I don't, I'm glad I'm glad you think I did something for you. I'm honored. I'm humbled by that. But if there's anything I can do in terms of, tag me in something, whatever. I tell everybody that because I hope they do the same for me, just to help keep the community growing strong and friendly on social media.
Yeah, we definitely love doing it. So we definitely have a blast. We listen to all the episodes that you guys put out. We definitely enjoy it. It's definitely the racing community is what I like to call it, the podcast community. I love it. So definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, no, for sure. There's like I said, I donating this one to the list. This one's for the listeners, because if not for them, not here. And the amateur podcast NASCAR listeners, if that's not a niche speech in and of itself, man. Like everybody is so incredible, so awesome, and it's truly remarkable that people tune in to listen to. We're not the Bob Pockresses, we're not the Jeff Glucks, and for the fact that people still tune in to listen is remarkable to the community, because that means they love it, which is awesome.
It is absolutely awesome. Like, the support from people that you've never met before in your entire life, maybe a few tweets here and there with them on Twitter, but like how far that has stretched, and helping us, helping you guys, like it's absolutely incredible.
Yeah, no, it's something special. That is for sure. Let's see. All right, so I know Ryan. I know you're going to be at MIS. AJ, have you been to a race yet this year? You going to one this year?
We took the girlfriend to the Daytona 500, first race of the year, and that is always awesome, no matter what the result is and who wins. And just love the atmosphere at Daytona for that first race of the year. If you haven't experienced it, you have to. It's one of those bucket list things. Whether you like super speedway racing or not, you got to get there for at least one race in your lifetime.
No, I agree 100%. I need to get down there. There's so many things, last year with COVID, in 2019, I got to 6 different tracks, and I'm like, oh man, I got to keep this momentum going in 2020. And then that obviously didn't happen. And now it's even a slow start into this year. So hopefully can make it to more than just MIS. We'll see. And, but next year, man, hopefully get back up full throttle and start getting to some different tracks again for sure.
Yeah, I got definitely Daytona on the bucket list. Hang out down there with AJ. We're gonna call it the Loose Lugs takes over Daytona.
I love it. I love it.
Yes, and hopefully we'll get AJ and his girlfriend up here to head out to MIS and do the same thing out at the Speedway.
Yes,
it's definitely been talked about.
Yes, it has.
I believe it. All right, well, let's talk about this past weekend real quick. What did you guys think of the truck race, Knoxville, Cup, Xfinity, Atlanta? Where'd you guys take away from the weekend?
Starting off with Knoxville. The truck series at Knoxville, which of course is in Iowa, not Tennessee, which I had been assuming all along. My bad there. Don't want to make any dirt fans mad with that one. I thought it was good up until those last 5 laps of nothing but wrecking going on.
Yeah, it's carnage.
And
I thought it was
exactly.
It was like the Talladega of dirt track right there with that one of the wrecks took out 15 or 20 trucks.
Yeah, it
was just beating and banging. So
now, what about the repave? Are you guys excited about the repave in Atlanta?
Go ahead, Ryan. Go ahead.
The repave with Atlanta, I'm looking forward to it. I like the increase of the banking, the narrowing of the track. But yeah, obviously with the track coming up on Sunday, it was definitely time for the repave at Atlanta. I'm looking forward to it. Hopefully they can get a second groove in quick.
Yeah, that's what they're going to need, and we saw that issue with Michigan.
Yes.
Ryan, you're probably going to remember, before the repave, man, we had 2-3 lanes of race in there, all race, from start to finish.
Exactly.
And then that kind of faded away, and we're slowly starting to see it come back a little bit. So, we saw that happen with so many different repaves. Hopefully they take note on doing this the right way. And the problem is, we don't know what the new car is going to bring and look like on that track. So there's not going to be anything to really compare that against, because it's really going to be apples and oranges, a new car and a new track surface. So it's going to be interesting to see what we get at some of the intermediate tracks next year.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, AJ.
Do I want to see a repave of Atlanta? Absolutely not, because I think the racing has just been getting better and better. But that's a selfish point of view, because this track has been needing a repave for a long time now. You saw it firsthand on Sunday with the track coming up, middle of the race. It's definitely time. There's only so much patchwork you can do on a place like that for as long as it's been. What was it, 97?
97.
97. Yeah.
97 was the last one. So it's definitely time for it. I think it's going to take a couple years for the racing to get back to what it once was of old Atlanta. However, with the new configuration, I don't I don't necessarily. I'm just so unsure about it at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. You know, the nice thing is, you know, even though it may take a minute for the on-track racing to be there, that what they're going to do to that facility is going to hopefully bring people in regardless. And then once the racing gets better, then that'll sell itself. So hopefully that will help take care of any shortfalls at the start of things after the repave there. All right, guys, what's coming up? You guys going to take some time off with the Olympic break there, or what do you guys got coming up on your show over the next couple weeks?
Yeah, we're going to do 105 this Thursday night, and we do them all on a live stream over on our YouTube page.
You get to see our pretty faces.
You get to see our pretty faces. Ryan's been doing a fantastic Scooby-Doo impression as of late.
That's right. I
in the middle of the
I got to do it. I got to do it. I'll do it.
Yes. Oh, that is spot on, my man.
That's right.
Spot on.
But
thank you.
We're doing that episode, and then we're going to take the next ensuing 3 weeks off.
Fair enough.
After that.
Fair enough.
We won't have an episode for New Hampshire, but we'll be back after the Olympic break, and we'll break down everything that happened in between.
Awesome. I love it. All right, guys, where can everybody follow you personally and plug the show and where everyone can follow and find that?
We are on iTunes, Podbean, Stitcher, YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those good ones. Search in your search bar, Loose Lugs Podcast, and on Twitter, we are at Lugs Podcast. Brian, go ahead and give them where they can find you at.
I'm on Twitter at rrancola88.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, listen, it was great to talk to you. Thank you so much for being a part of 250. Congrats on your 100th episode a couple of weeks ago. That's awesome. And Ryan, hit me up. Look forward to meeting up with you at MIS here in a couple of weeks, man.
Yes, definitely. Can't wait. August 22nd. Can't get here quick enough, my man.
I know that feeling. That's right. All right, guys. Take care.
Yeah,
right,
thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yep, congrats.
All right, great to catch up with the guys from the Lugs Podcast. All right, let's take a little break from the calls. Let's do a little Lap Traffic social media. Everybody, make sure you check out the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, The Lap Traffic Podcast, YouTube, The Lap Traffic Podcast, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all at Lap Traffic PC. If you've made it this far into the show, leave a review wherever you're listening. Listen to the show on iTunes, Podbean. Go tell your friends they can find the show anywhere, just about anywhere. Giveaways all week. That's right. It's Listener Appreciation Week for episode 250. We gave some stuff away on Sunday. Ron at our Tater picked up a Lap Traffic prize pack last night. Michelle Alexander at Race to Hunt picked up a Angry Brew Lap Traffic prize pack. And today, that's right, we got one for today as well. Let's see what we got for that. Winning a Spencer Boyd autographed hat and some Lap Traffic swag is Kessel at Kessel_19 MTG. Guessing a Martin Truex Jr. fan there. Congratulations. Shoot me a DM and I will get that out to you. I'm going to get all the prizes out on Friday, that's for sure, so that hopefully early next week everyone gets all of their prize packs in the mail. All right, we got some new followers. RaceFan18 at RaceFan182, big NASCAR fan. Just Mitchin at Just Mitchin, Packers fan. Oh, I'm not sure about that. That's just because I know you're going to whoop the Lions twice this year, but that's okay. Brandon Hall at Brandon1869680 Did I hear a niner in there? Co-host of Scrubbing the Tires. And Blaine Gravitt at Blaine Gravitt loves music and barbecue. Now, I mean, that's what I do on Sundays, music, barbecue, smoking, NASCAR, and seeing what kind of good meat creations we can come up with. That's for sure. Welcome to the show, everyone. Tell your friends. Don't forget to go to angrybrew.com. Use code LAPPED, LAPPED. Get 10% off at checkout. Stickers, koozies, I've got them for free. Fill out the contact page on the website, thelaptrafficpodcast.com. I'll send them out for free. All that good stuff. All right. Let's get back to the calls. Let's get Jumpy Bob on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation joining me on the line. Excited to have him. Gotten to know him over the last, few months, season, so to speak. He's playing in Lap Traffic Fantasy League, although he might regret doing that. Welcome to the Lap Traffic Podcast. You can follow him on Twitter at Jumpy Bob. Jumpy Bob, what's up, man? How are you?
Thank you very much for having me on again. We're doing well. Not
Excellent.
so good in the pool, as you had mentioned earlier, but we're doing okay.
Yes, sir. Well, listen, man, thanks for coming on. Thanks for being a part of the dedication to the listeners here of episode 250, man.
And you have quite a few listeners, which is great. Obviously, episode 250, you're going to gain a lot of traction, which is really good to see and to hear.
Thank you. No, man, I'm glad. When did you hop on board, man? When did you start following and listening?
It's been a couple of years, like a couple of years in the background. It was only started this season when I decided to drop the gauntlet and say, okay, I think I'm really good at this pool thing, and I'm going to have to interact a little bit more with you guys, just to see how good the Canadians can be against these Americans, and actually just against the world. To be honest with you, I've noticed recently there's a lot of people all around the world, Australia included, that are a part of this. So I feel pretty good that we're part of a big group.
Yeah, no, it's so cool. Yeah, I mean, we've got the MOATF podcast over there in Great Britain playing. We got John Entwistle over in Australia playing. We got you and I mean, the Lap Traffic Podcast Fantasy League is intercontinental, which is awesome.
International, absolutely. That's
yes,
great.
Yes, that's what I meant there. Oh, man. Yeah, well, I'm glad to have you and all that good stuff, man. That's awesome. How long you been a NASCAR fan?
I have been a NASCAR fan since I believe I saw it the first time CBS carried it, because back then, up here in Canada, we didn't get much news about, the southern states and what they were doing for entertainment, like in racing. You always knew about Formula One and stuff like that, but I never got to see a stock car race. And I think that when I saw that on television on that Sunday, forget the fight and everything else, but the actual race itself, that was when I got really turned on to it. That's basically when it bit me. How about you?
I really start, it had always been a part of like family watching. My grandpa worked for GM and, would take me to the races as a kid. But I really never really got into it unless it was something like that until 2001, late 2000s, early 2001. My uncle ran a fantasy pool back then. I was in high school making my own money so I could invest the $100 into the league kind of thing. And so then as I started getting into that and finding an interest on why and so it was really my senior year of high school, 2001 was when I really became a fan of the sport. And then it slowly, it was a gradual increase of, okay, I'm home. Okay. I got nothing else on TV. I'll turn it on to, oh, hey, I like this track. So I'm going to make sure I'm home. And to then, it's life now, basically. So it's my wife will tell everybody that I've only lied to her one time, and it was that I said that I kind of like NASCAR. She will tell you that is the only lie that I ever told.
You know what? That's like me telling my wife I only drink occasionally.
Right. Yeah.
That was the only one lie I told her. I only drink occasionally.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So that's that was the thing.
So from 2001 on, it took you, I'm going to say, 15, 16 years before you decided, I got 40 hours a week to spare. Why don't I start my own podcast?
Right. Yeah. Is
that how it worked out?
Well, kind of, right. So for me, it was like, all right, became the fan, started watching, started going to races, once I got my driver's license and was able to either, I would then take my grandpa to return the favor, or, finally, got some friends hooked into it to where we could go, and then started dragging the wife. And, then that turned into getting to meet some people, which turned into cold passes, which turned into hot passes, which was like, all right, where can we get something further? What's the next step? And at that point, I had already had a career going and all that, so I didn't feel like I was going to be able to make a switch from a career perspective. And it was like, well, man, everybody's podcasting, everybody's doing this, like, you know, let's see what happens. And here we are 5 years into a podcast, episode 250. And, you know, not, you know, just to be able to say I'm a small piece of the sport as an amateur, and have, you know, gotten the respect of some local tracks like Michigan, Chicagoland, Richmond, Homestead, you know, places that I've been and have reached out to. And a lot of is the credit to Michigan, because I reached out to Michigan and was like, hey, can we get access? And they were like, well, let's see what happens this time around. And then, you know, reach back out to us, and Michigan just became such a huge supporter of the show, to the point of where, hey, if you want to go to another track, let us know, we'll reach out and, you know, kind of you know, throw our blessing, if you will, to let that track know that you're legit, that you're not just, you know, some crazed fan, you know, kind of thing, which, you know. And then the drivers, you know, I've gotten to know some of them over the years, to the point of where, and this is one of the coolest things for me, is I can walk in the garage and Landon Castle will recognize me by face. And I'm one of those people that can then go up and talk to Landon while people are trying to come up and get his autograph. When 6 years ago, I was the guy running up trying to get the autograph, you know? So it's just been an incredible journey that has had some ups and downs, but it's been one of the coolest hobbies in the world. And if this is it, like if 250 is it and I'm done, which I'm not, but if it was, like, man, the memories and the things that I've gotten to do have just been incredible.
You have a very strong support, both with the tracks that you've just mentioned, and also with a lot of the players that are part of the NASCAR racing series, which is important, because every time, obviously, you do have a podcast, you have a lot of interesting guests that are directly involved with the sport of stock car racing.
Yeah, no, it is. And, you know, one of the things, you know, I've got my, my email, and on the email, it's got like this little stat thing there that most people don't see, because, you know, I'm not sending emails to you guys. But on there, it's just got some stats of the show and some of the past guests that I've had on there, in case it's like some PR rep that I've never talked to before that's got no clue who I am. Because, you know, if you're Bob Pockrass, that name carries some clout behind it. If I say I'm Brandon with the Lap Traffic Podcast, I might get a couple dogs turning their head kind of confused, like, who? You know? So, you know, at least that way, if like at the end of an email they say, oh, wait a minute, this guy's had Jeff Striegel, Tyler Riddick, Alex Bowman on. Okay, I'm at least going to read the email now, hopefully, at least, you know.
Right.
So, but
you know, and it's absolutely.
Yeah, you know, it's like, hey, you know, Dale Jr. has not been on the show. I don't think Dale Jr. is ever going to be on the show, and I'm okay with that. But I've had a lot of fun getting to talk to like some of the guys in the Truck Series that are now racing in the Xfinity Series. You know, and you know, maybe, you know, Cole Custer's been on the show, hell, I don't know, 6-7 times. You know, so maybe when he's got 20 wins behind him, I might still be able to get him on the show. So we'll see where it goes, man. It's been a hell of a ride.
It sounds great, honestly, and I'd like you to keep going. To be honest, you know, get a double, get a 500 podcast in.
Listen, there's I don't have any. There's nothing on my radar that says I'm gonna have or need to stop anytime soon, which is awesome. Part of that is you know, as we joked a little bit ago about my wife, she gives me a lot of crap sometimes about the fact it's Friday and I want to, you know, get home from dinner or wherever in time for the truck race. But you know, sometimes that happens, sometimes it doesn't. But you know, she is such a big supporter of me doing this, and because she knows how much this sport means to me and how much I love it. And you know, she's sitting upstairs watching TV, you know, so she loses me on most Monday and Tuesday nights, but you know, after 5 years, she's used to that, and like I said, she's such a huge supporter. So that's part of the reason why we've made it to 250, and there isn't an end in sight, at least for the foreseeable future.
Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
Well, man, I feel like you've led me on a lot of stuff here, which I appreciate. I don't talk about it too often on the show, so thank you for that. But man, what you know, what do you want to talk about? Atlanta? What else do you want to talk about?
Well, there's a lot of interesting things coming up within the series that have a lot of people. Obviously, being part of the podcast and part of social media, the way that you are, there's a lot of positive and a lot of questions and a lot of negative going on within the sport of stock car racing right now, which I don't remember ever having been that way emotionally for so many people that call themselves fans, and maybe they are fans, don't know. But there's a lot of hype out there of pretty much like a armchair quarterbacking, if you could say, of how NASCAR should run their business. But they've been at it for 73 years now. They started strong. Bill France Sr. was not one to be fooled around with. He knew he had a direction. He had his son involved in that direction. And although a few hiccups and growing pains happened in the past, I still think they have a very good entertaining very good entertaining product to share with everybody, that wants to be a part of it. Back before the whole social media thing started, where you could instantly find out information from other people and their thoughts and instantly find out racetrack information and races in general. There was a lot of we can call it latency in that information. So
Sure.
A lot of people would have calmed down after the race if there was a race and there was some question marks. Bill France Sr. had a pretty good tight thumb on everything, and they played, and he knew what people wanted, and he gave them what he wanted, and he found out with the attendance increases over the years when he was in charge, he was putting out a good product. And up to, the present point, I still think that it is a very good entertaining product. All aside, the problem that I have with this whole thing is I know too much. And I think a lot of people are in the same boat because of the social media aspect, because information is so readily available from every aspect of the sport, whether it be team owners or drivers or cars and what's coming up in the future, because everyone's very thirsty for that knowledge, and then base their understandings of how this sport is going to go forward. And I think the social media thing is both a blessing and not so much of a blessing as it relates.
Yeah, I would.
What do you feel about that? Considering you have a podcast, how do you feel about that?
Well, that's right. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like, if not for social media, I don't have the platform. And then but because of that fact, then everybody's got the platform and everybody's got their opinion, and anybody that can sign on to any social media account can go out there and put their opinion out, and it just depends. Do you have two
Whether
followers?
Whether it be positive or negative.
Right, exactly. So if that person's got 2 followers, well, not a lot of people are seeing that. That post. But if someone's got 1,000, 5,000, and for me, social media, I've always viewed it as a pyramid scheme, because all it takes is one retweet by the right person, and then it blows up, and it's a pyramid upward versus a pyramid downward, and it's just. It's like I said, it's double-edged, because without it, I'm not here. So from that regard, I love it. I try to avoid as much negativity as possible, because I'm not getting paid to do this, right? So I want it to be I want it to stay fun. I want to be excited about Tuesday nights. I want to be excited about going to the race. And I think that when you look at today's society, I guess, if you will, in the I want it now and I can get it now. It's not so much I think that I want things now, it's that you can also get things now. And when you look at the entertainment value, like you were talking about, I think NASCAR is one of the best dollar to if you're gonna put in a ratio perspective, a currency note versus equaling the value of entertainment. Like, you can't go to a football game in the United States as cheap as you can go to a NASCAR race. But the problem is that's definitely a one-day show. Whereas, from a stock car NASCAR perspective, it's definitely a lot more planning. There's definitely a lot more involvement, because odds are it's anywhere probably between an hour to 3 hour drive one way to the closest NASCAR track in your local town. So now, double that, or even 2.5 times that by the time you plan on getting out of the racetrack, plus the time that, it's a much greater commitment, and you have to dedicate a lot more time. And I just think people don't have as much free time between demanding work schedules, limited, resources, because, the kids are in softball and travel baseball and travel hockey and we want to go to a baseball game and a football, and I just feel like there are so many options available to the consumer that I think that's why, and that plays somewhat of a role in terms of why maybe attendance and viewership is down. But when you look at the social media side of things in terms of, what we're measuring today off of, TV ratings don't mean as much as hashtag ratings do and impressions do and, all that kind of stuff. It's a new era in terms of what we're going to deem it success off of. So if we're just looking at butts in a seat and eyes on the TV, of course that's down. That's going to be down across the board, I think, in most sports. But when you look at other aspects in terms of where your engagements are, I think maybe it's up a little bit, So I would agree with you. The long-winded way to say, I think the sports, like you said, it's been around a long time. There's things that can be done, I think, to maybe help it. And I will sound like a broken record because I think this would be great for the sport. Like you said, we've all got an opinion on how we can change it. I look at what the World Wrestling Entertainment did with their WWE network for a $10 a month subscription, and what I got, I felt that was the best $10 a month I spent. And, we all waste money on stupid things. And it's like, if NASCAR came out with a subscription-based service, sure, you might lose viewers, but you might bring in more money from your dedicated fan base for $10-15 a month, knowing that they've only got to go to one place and they can get everything from practice to qualifying when that comes back, to the races, to special programming, whether it be, we see stuff during rain delays and maybe we get something on one station or another station on, a driver or a history lesson kind of thing. If that was all in one spot, I'd pay $10, I'd pay $20, and I think that, maybe we'd lose viewership and some broadcasting money, but there's ways that can be made up elsewhere and take advantage of where we're at in today's society.
I agree. And you know what? They've actually I think Fox tried that with Speed TV, and which by the way, I bought into, I was dedicated to, loved it. They didn't only have, obviously, the stock car racing aspect of it, but they had all the other racing as well, which, although it wasn't really as popular and wouldn't be as very popular to as many people, I just love racing. You know what? I'd watch people with race themselves around with their shopping carts in a Walmart parking lot if it was up to me. That's how much I enjoy just racing.
I think Speed TV was maybe ahead of its time a little bit, because that was before the era of smartphones and apps to where you could watch on the go, so something to that effect. Might be worth the investment. I absolutely agree with you.
I think Speed TV was way ahead of its time, and if I had the ability to approach like a ESPN or something like that and propose nothing but a racing channel again, I think it'd be more welcomed now than it was back then.
Absolutely.
When they basically had to pull teeth to get it on the air.
Yes. No, I'm with you. All right, sir. Well, man, I have thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. We probably need to have a few more of these. Tell everybody where they can follow you on Twitter.
You can follow me on Twitter at Jumpy Bob. I post a lot of car pictures, mostly of Hot Wheels. I very rarely get in. I absolutely do not get into politics, but if you want to enjoy some Hot Wheels from my Jump Hot Wheels collection, you're more than welcome. I'm really actually a nice guy and don't really cause too much trouble on Twitter. I've never been blocked once.
I love it. Well, man, thank you so much for being a part of episode 250. Really, really glad to have had you on. Enjoyed that conversation there and look forward to talking to you soon, man.
Before we go, I got to ask you just one more thing.
Yes, sir.
Who are your picks for this coming race?
All right. I will tell you, how about off the air, because I haven't done the fantasy segment yet.
Oh, absolutely. You're right. That's part of the show. You're right. That's my bad. Okay.
All right, no problem. Hang
I'll
on the
wait.
line. Hang on the line. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, that's Jumpy Bob. Look forward to talking to him real soon. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, little late minute programming change here. It was planned to have both Brian Newdorf and Aaron Studwell. However, Brian had something pop up last minute, so he is unable to attend. But joining me on the line, you can follow him on Twitter at RaceWeather. It's Mr. Aaron Studwell. Sir, good evening. How are you?
Good evening, sir. I'm doing well, and happy 250.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes, you've been around for a good chunk of them 250. If I was good, I would have gone back to see what episode was the first one. But that just popped into my mind as you said that, so that's not something I can do. But
it sounds like you have a homework assignment for the weekend.
Right. Well, what I can say is I believe this is your third year of doing this, and I believe you started at the start of season 3.
That would be correct.
So if that's the case, moment, please hold here. Hey, are you watching the All-Star game tonight?
Yes, I'm going to find a fine beverage.
Okay.
I'm going to put my feet up, and I'm going to lean back and watch the baseballs fly out of, what's the name of the park now? Of course, it's still Coors Field.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, just checking. They do change every now and then.
Yes, I love it. All right, now that I let you talk for a minute, that allowed me to go back to the website. And I can tell you that season 3 started with episode 108, but that was obviously before things kicked off. I see that Dan Wetzel from Yahoo Sports was on episode 111. That was probably before Daytona. So I'm going to guess you started around episode 112-ish, and here we are at 250. So over 100 episodes, sir.
Wow.
So
well,
that's
and I'm still
awesome.
not tired. I'm still not tired of talking to you.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if that is a credit to me or a credit to your patience. So
I'll give credit to a little bit more of your patience with me for as many times as I've messed up your show.
Nonsense.
Both with I'm more thinking of taking it off the rails. If you want to give a patience award, it's to your lovely wife, Lindsay.
Yes.
For as much as she's been through a move, medical stuff.
Yes.
Barbecue stuff.
Yeah.
Racing.
Yes.
We're good now.
Yeah.
She gets
Patience of a
kudos.
saint. That's for sure.
Yeah. If she listened.
Yeah. Oh,
if she listened.
Yeah. I tell you what, you wait for that Facebook message. How's that?
Yeah.
You'll be waiting a minute.
Yeah, I'm sure.
She don't get around to them like she used to. So, oh man, that's funny. I love it. Well, listen, it's been a minute since you've been on. What'd you do over the 4th of July? Anything fun?
Honestly, I think I'm all out of my boxes.
Excellent.
Although I am missing a pair of shoes.
Oh wow!
And I don't know how that happens. I think I tossed them in like a suitcase, which I haven't unpacked yet. And I think I found it like underneath some stuff earlier. I'm like, I bet you that's where those shoes are. But I pretty much moved in, worked. I say work. Company's going great. I'm hoping we have some really exciting news by the end of August.
Cool.
And we're just, we've got, Voyagers on with Landon for the rest of the season, but we're working on, I just closed an associate deal with a Michigan football Todd Plate.
Nice.
So we are working the Michigan connections. And
does that mean you'll be here in Michigan for the August race?
It looks, unfortunately, no, but I will be at a race. If I can close, we're working on an 8-race deal for my open wheel driver, and that would put me at Gateway. I'm sorry. WWT, WWE.
Yeah, right. I always want to say World Wrestling.
St. Louis.
Yeah.
East St. Louis.
Excellent.
For the Bomberito race.
Okay, sweet. Good deal. That's fun. All right, let's move a little more current. Atlanta, Knoxville, man. That truck race almost killed my tea time and me getting up for Saturday. Thankfully, I persevered through that. I'm just sitting there and it's like, oh my God, this race should have been over at 10 o'clock. Why are we still racing at 11:45? Why are we racing after 12?
No, that was my whole thing. I'm like, hey, look, the white flag. I was just about to wave it myself and surrender.
I was close. Like I had a 8:30 tea time. It was an hour drive. I'm like, you gotta stop and get a bagel. Like, I mean, I gotta get up.
That's my own heart.
I gotta get up at 6:30 in the morning, and it's midnight. I just worked all week. Like, and I get it. I mean, you want to talk about first world problems to complain about having to wake up at Saturday morning to go play golf, but it was just like, man, can this thing get over with sometime soon?
Yeah, that was just a fustercluck. That was just a debacle is a nice word.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And and it's rare I say I watch Eric Estep.
Oh,
but
he YouTube guy or something, right?
Yeah. Yes. And he doesn't follow me, which I really shouldn't have given promotion for that.
Me either.
But he's like, it really comes down to a lack of respect for others on track. They raced really nice. I mean, really nice. I mean, they raced well. The heats, the first two stages, third stages, they're like, oh, demolition derby time. Let's go.
Well, all right. So here's, and man, I wish I could get in contact with this guy because I debate that and I debate it respectfully.
I know, and I'm more being facetious, but I've also heard from dirt track people I know that they should have taken a break. They should have watered the track. They should have put that inside groove back in.
Yes,
they should have groomed.
Yes.
They should have groomed the track at some point, and I think at the stage breaks. When you had those I hate to say non-timed, those longer where you're not changing position stops, I think that would have been a perfect time they did do it because they did it at the Bristol race and it worked out really well.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I agree to that completely. And I talked about this a little bit ago, but I 100% would also add to the caveat of why that became such a cluster bleep at the end was because once you, I mean, I know the old adage, cautions precautions, but once that becomes a factor, once it becomes trucks, once it becomes dirt race, and I think this part is missed because I don't feel they highlighted it enough on the broadcast. We've only got one more race before the truck playoffs start. So this is go home time, basically. Like these guys that wanted to have a shot to either pick up points, bump somebody out with a win that's outside the top 10. This was their chance because it was dirt and maybe taking advantage of it. Or if they know that, they're going to suck on the road course next in a couple weeks at Watkins Glen. This was it. And, so I think you add in the fact that the track needed some extra maintenance, and plus that aspect, that's why I personally feel we went to 4 overtimes in a truck.
I agree. That's a great observation. And here's another one. It's not to trump yours, but this is a question for you. And I remember at Bristol, they went to single file restarts. Should they have done that maybe after the first green-white checker? Green-white mess.
I mean, we saw that at Bristol, right? And to me, my thing is, man, like I've had people ask me to change the rules in Lap Traffic Fantasy to stop Kyle Larson from being able to be picked every week. And I'm like, I get where you're coming from. And yeah, that makes sense. But the season and the segment and all of this have started under these rules. And people were able to take advantage and use that and strategically play around that. If I change that now, I'm going to piss a lot of people off. And so for me to go to single file restarts mid race, like I think I don't like that. Like you're like, hey, let's just randomly change a rule mid-race when that's not how we did it last week, and that's not how we're going to do it next week. Like, so I'm not a fan. I understand why, but I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah, okay. I was just curious. Yeah, just curious about that. But I think the playoff observation or playoff implications observation was key there.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, I think so too. Not to toot my own horn, but I will.
If you could do that, you'd never leave the house. Go ahead.
All right, Matt. Well, listen. So I've kind of teased it a little bit, but I'll make it official. I'm probably going to do a short show next week, and I say that because there's not going to be any fantasy to really do. There's no weather to have next week. So going to take a couple weeks off after next week's short condensed show. So this is going to be the last weather segment here for a couple weeks, sir.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
That's fine by me.
Yes.
Here's the thing, because we'll stay in touch.
Yes.
We'll continue to talk sports.
Yes.
We'll figure out the Michigan show.
Yes.
And we'll figure out how we can meet in Pittsburgh or Youngstown to give me some of your barbecue.
All the things. Yes to all the things. So we were talking a little bit before the show. Like, I have gone straight through every season for like the last 2 years. I don't think I've missed a show during the season, and it just makes sense, man.
So you're the Cal Ripken of podcasting.
There we go. I love it.
You could put that on the back of a shirt,
right? Yeah,
Iron Man. Podcasting Iron Man.
Yeah, there you go. I love it. So that said, let's get our last weather update here for a couple weeks. How are we looking for Loudon, sir?
Bring ponchos.
Okay.
Bring ponchos. If you're going, bring ponchos. Not just for Larry the Lobster. Cold front sitting really kind of across the St. Lawrence Valley, which is that river that runs down through Quebec. Saturday, cloudy, southerly winds, so I have a little bit moist air coming in and chance of rain. Pretty decent chance of rain. Sunday's a little bit more iffy. I think if the front passes, which it's kind of forecast to do, but looking at the weather service, they don't really agree with it, and I'm not sure why, unless your stuff's old. Cloudy again. Morning rain going into afternoon showers. There is a potential that they become more scattered. So I think that's what you want to hope for. Northerly winds. I don't think the skies are going to clear. High only of 70 on Sunday.
I mean, it's been rough up here. I mean, you're in the Midwest East now, if you will.
Yes.
And I mean, the weather in Michigan, Metro Detroit, has been unseasonably chilly, cloudy, overcast, and breezy, and it's rained, more days than it hasn't.
Yeah, and you got a pretty decent chance for some pretty bumpy weather tomorrow with some severe storms too. So
hey, as long as it clears, I mean, it do what it wants Monday to Thursday. I could care less,
right.
So, but yeah, fun times. All right, sir. Well, listen, everybody, make sure you follow Brian Newdorf on Twitter at NASCAR_WXMAN, along with yours truly, Aaron Studwell at Race Weather. Sir, it was great to catch up with you. Thank you so much for being a part of episode 250, and we will catch you in a couple weeks, sir.
I'm just thankful you asked me to do this in late 2017. I'm glad I said yes. Glad to be part of the show. Glad to be part of the team.
Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. We'll catch you later.
Talk to you later.
See ya.
Bye.
All right. The dogs are barking. Yes, it is time for this week's Lucky Dog and Lapdown picks. You guys know the drill. After the checkered flag drops, you can tweet me your picks, and I will read them back on the show. My lucky dog of the race weekend is the Bush brothers. Kurt and Kyle each had something to celebrate this weekend, and to you guys, the listeners, the followers, for giving me a reason to be here for 250 episodes. Thank you so much. My lap down, truck race, and you guys know how much it pains me to give the truck race a lap down, but it is warranted this week. And Kyle Larson, because of course I picked him in Lap Traffic Fantasy. All right, let's get to your tweeted responses. With Scott, 1985 Wagner, who you heard a little while ago. Lucky Dog Kurt Busch with a turn of help from Ross Chastain. Lap down as a tie, Kevin Harvick, Denny Hamlin from dominance to doormats this season. And he sent in a late ad as well for a lap down. All the KB fans mad at Ross Chastain for helping his teammate. 18 driver and spotter didn't see it coming, is purely on those two for not thinking about it. They don't realize same thing has helped KB win races before. I love it. Jeff at JBev1789, Lucky Dog. How about Kurt Busch? He and the 42 have had speed the past few weeks. Clutch win. Lap down, Stewart House Racing. I guess I need to stop thinking the turnaround is coming. They're just way, way off, and it's mind-blowing. Yeah. If you saw what Rodney said a couple weeks ago in an interview, something about just like at this point they're not going to be able to get the speed with what they'd have to go through to be able to find it. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe he's playing with us. Who knows? Brian at Stormin B81, Lucky Dog, great run by Kurt Busch to punch his ticket. Lap down, the fans who thought it was a bad idea to repave the track. LOL, it needs it. Jess at Iowa, NASCAR fan, Lucky Dog, Kurt Busch got one for the old guys. Lap down, the people that kept saying or thought the Knoxville race was in Tennessee. Yes, good call there. Rowdy at the Rowdy Dragon, Lucky Dog, Kurt Busch winning the family feud with a great battle in the closing laps. Lap down, Kyle Larson in the 5 car. You can't make those mistakes if you plan on running for the cup. Eddie at Eddie _ EG3, Lucky Dog, Ganassi Racing, Kurt Busch dominates with the Chastain assist. Lap down, Hemrick needs to find the golden horseshoe. Maybe he just needs to call Jimmy Johnson. I'm not sure. Kristen at K Hoglund 79, Lucky Dog, Kurt Busch for getting himself a spot in the playoffs. A lap down to Atlanta for the empty stands. Where are you at? Let's go back to Wisconsin where we can fill the place up. Colin at Colin _ cars. Lucky Dog to Kurt Busch. Best battle for the win this year. Lap down to Ricky Spinhouse. What's the over under? How many cars he's going to ruin before the end of the year? Well, I need to know where we were at now, and then I could set that line for you. Janet at Froggy16. Lucky Dog to Kurt. Go. Ross Chastain did him a huge solid. Lap down the Truck Series for looking like amateurs the last 10 laps at Knoxville. Roger at ROJODI's Lucky Dog, Kurt for the win, Ross for being a good teammate, and the horse rider in Iowa lapped down the Smith family in Atlanta for thinking fans want reconfiguration, and Kyle Busch for being a whiner. I love it. David at DFlint14. Already have my Lucky Dogs. He sent these in early. Lucky Dog, used sheet metal collectors. Lap down everyone involved in either race control or driving a truck. Great job convincing the fans at the greatest dirt track in the country that NASCAR is a joke. Ooh. That's strong, David. That's strong. But hey, I'll take me some sheet metal. Robin at SF49er Girl 16. Lucky Dog, definitely Kurt Busch. A lap down, Kyle Larson. And Carson at Carson Haglin. Lucky Dog, Kyle Busch going out on top in Xfinity, backing it up with a P2 in Cup race. Lap down the Knoxville fiasco. Started out as a great race, but ended in chaos. Need to go to the other Iowa track I might offer. And Chris at USMC _ NASCAR Fire. Lucky Dog, Kurt Busch, beast mode. Lap down, Chase Elliott. Would have been cool to see him join his dad as winners there. And Chris at Chris4 WF18. Lucky Dog, Kyle Busch with Xfinity win 102 Saturday, backing it up with a second place finish with a stage win. Lap down, Michael Annette not racing Friday in Knoxville, Saturday in Atlanta. Only thing JRM is saying is a reoccurrence of leg injury. He drove just fine Thursday. And last but not least, Ron at R Trader, Lucky Dog Kurt, and lap down Kyle. All right. That is going to do it for this week's Lucky Dog Lap Down picks. You guys came strong this week. I love it. Let's get it strong one more week before the break. All right, let's keep things rolling. All right, normally there used to be that old wave around hotline. Somebody that used to close out the wave around hotline was Mr. Andrew Khantzian, and I think it's fitting we drop him in right about now. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line. He's so excited to be on because you haven't heard his voice in a minute since I decided to retire the Wave Around Hotline. It is the former voice of the Wave Around Hotline, Mr. Andrew Khantzian. Sir, how are you?
I'm good, man. How are you? It's probably a good thing that you retired it. Less edits you got to make on the show and less bleeps you got to put in.
Right. Oh, man, things are good. Thank you so much for being a part of episode 250. You're one of the other OGs on tonight, which is awesome. So thanks for being along for the ride, man.
Oh, thanks for having me on. I love being on here. And man, I can't believe it's been 250 episodes. I think I started around episode 8 or 10.
Yeah, that's nuts, man. It's awesome. Well, listen, before we get to racing talk, let's get some baseball talk. All-Star games tonight. My Tigers have been kind of streaky. They're up, they're down. They hit a grand slam and still find a way to lose on Sunday. How are your Yankees doing, man?
Oh, Brandon. You can't tease the Astros and then blow a 5-run lead to them in the 9th inning and then have them mock you, even though Altuve, took his shirt off and said, "Oh, I got no buzzers here," even though, the buzzer theory was not quite proven, but we're still cheating in 2019 with flashing lights in the outfield. And you guys can go look that up in one of the sports writers' books, just saying. So there's probably still cheating in my book. I hate the Astros with a passion. I'd rather see the Red Sox win. And the Yankees they're too right-handed. They're too slow, and they need to kind of maybe sell a little bit at the trade deadline.
Fair enough. Now, all right. So now you're a very passionate sports person. You know, the hatred for the Astros is noted. You are not a fan of some of the drivers that take the field every Sunday. You know, maybe driver the number 11, number 6. I could go on. What's fueled more, the Astros or some of the guys that you can't stand that drive on Sunday?
Without a doubt, the Houston assholes, for sure. I mean, you can't ruin the integrity of the game and then act like you guys did nothing and cost people their careers and cost people millions of dollars in arbitration because Altuve took the MVP from Judge, and then take World Series from people and then act like, the players act like they're the victims, even though they all should have been banned. But Pete Rose is still banned, but he bet on his own team to win. Go figure. But
right.
That's neither here nor there.
Are you going to watch the All-Star game tonight?
I'll try to get as much in as I can. I mean, I really want to see Shohei Ohtani, man. That guy is so goddamn fun to watch. I mean, what more can you say about him? He's a very good pitcher and an elite hitter. I mean, we've never seen anything like this in our lifetime, for sure.
No, I'm with you 100%. That's kind of how I felt about watching Cabrera a couple years ago. Like, just elite, just being able to take that in is just something special to behold. So I feel
those are the generational talents that kind of come along in any sport, whether it's LeBron or Jordan or Brady. Outside of the sports we're talking about now, you just got to embrace them. I mean, yeah, I know people hated Tom Brady, but I mean, I'm not really a football fan, but it's kind of fun to be able to at least appreciate him more than I used to, I should say.
Sure. Well, that's kind of, Tom Brady love-hate relationship with people is kind of like me with Kyle Busch. Like, before the podcast, I really developed appreciations for this sport on a whole different level with the podcast. Kyle Busch has grown on me. I have a greater understanding for why he is the way he is and all of that. So, yeah, no, I get that. And I think as Kyle Busch grows in his career and when he's retired and maybe in a booth or doing whatever, I think more people will become fans of his at that point in time. So we saw it with Gordon. We've seen it with DW. It's really kind of like that. All right, I didn't like you because you prevented my driver from winning, but now that you're not driving, I'll get on the bandwagon.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised more fans aren't on the Kyle Busch bandwagon, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because they don't like we'll call it the saltiness after a second place finish, which I can understand.
Right.
But it's entertaining. I mean, what more do you want? Do you want a guy to get out and say, "Oh, we had a good points day"? I gotta say, no, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see a guy say, "No, we lost. Yeah, Ross Chastain's a POS." Like, yes, right. That is what I want to see in a driver. Yeah, and I'm at the point right now where I don't root for or against Kyle Busch, but I'm so happy to watch him every Sunday.
Sure. All right, now let's talk about Saturday, his win, and basically admitting on national TV that he's done at least for a while. And I say that meaning like, hey, Dale Jr. supposedly done, but he hops in an Xfinity car every once in a while, so we may see a one-off here or there. And hell, we may even see it next season. Who knows? But his, guaranteed 5 races a year is probably a done deal. Does that, where are you at with that? Are you happy with that? Would you rather see him in there?
I think back in the early 2010s and late thousands, we'll call it, we saw all these guys just obliterating the Xfinity field. Cup guys, I mean, whether it was Carl Edwards or Matt Kenseth, Kevin Harvick, those guys.
Sure.
And we didn't really see a lot of young drivers develop through the ladder. And there was that lull where we didn't really get many drivers. But the drivers that we got developed quickly, like a Keselowski, for example. I think what Kyle does for the Xfinity series outweighs the bad.
Sure.
And I think they're really going to miss him for a lot of reasons. As we are now, what are we, Brandon, 5 or 6 years into the limitations in the lower series?
Around there. Yeah.
Give or take.
It was, I think, it was right when I might have been like the year before the new playoff format. So yeah, we're around that
sounds about right.
Yeah.
So I think as we've seen some of these younger drivers come in and just struggle. I mean, William Byron struggled, and the rookies last year. Yeah, Cole Custer won, but let's be real, he didn't really go out and win. It was kind of a fluky win. He went out and got a good restart. I think that's where you're going to see it, and you are seeing now the long-term effects of us locking some of the Cup drivers out of the lower series, and I think that's going to hurt because they all say, I mean, they were saying on your show, yeah, I love Kyle Busch is in the field. Yeah, he kicks our ass, but guess what? I know where I got to be better.
Yes. Yeah, no, 100%.
And they're going to hurt it from that's going to hurt from a competition standpoint, and I think to a lesser extent, maybe from a business standpoint, those are 5 more races that team has to fund out of pocket. Because Kyle Busch is bringing his own sponsors. Kevin Harvick's going to bring his sponsors. Right. Carl Edwards brought his sponsors. And it kind of gave some of those younger guys a chance. Like, how many different drivers did we see drive the Monster or the NASCAR when Kyle wasn't running? Kyle was the one bringing the money.
Right.
So he gave those guys like Eric Jones and Matt Tifft a chance.
Yes.
And obviously some panned out better than others, but that's, again, that in every sport.
And that's what helps to fund his truck team, which is why we're still going to see him in a truck over in Xfinity, because he's got extra stake in that, in bringing that to the team. And, as much as people may hate on Kyle Busch, what he's doing for the truck series is helping keep the excitement, the name, he's helped keeping the truck series at the forefront there, which, is something to be said about his love for the sport, even though we may not love his approach sometimes.
Right. And he's still bringing, 3 or 4, depending on the year, full-time trucks.
Yes. Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, if you get rid of KBM, what is the truck series? It's GMS and ThorSport, and that's about it.
Yes. Yep.
So do we really want to go down that road of not having KBM in the truck series?
No.
So
I mean, look what happened with Keselowski ended up getting out of it. We saw what happened. And he didn't want to get out of it. But it was. Just
and that's the thing. And look how long it's taken Ford just to get another development deal in the truck series. I mean, how many Ford prospects have come through the trucks to Xfinity level? There really hasn't been any. Austin Cindric, once the BKR, he was the last really Ford driver to come through with the truck program. I mean, now they got Haley Deegan in there, but has she really lit the world on fire? No. Has Tanner Gray lit the world on fire? No. So I think Ford might be still kind of looking at that a little bit. So,
well, and I wonder if maybe with Keselowski's move over to Roush, maybe that's something that comes down the pipe with that, is maybe they look at a developmental truck team there. So
very well could be.
All right, sir, let's wrap it with this. You're sitting 29th in lap traffic fantasy. Can you crack the top 16 with 5 races to go? You got about 60 points to make up.
If I was able to see into the future, I think I would probably look into the lottery numbers before I look into the lap traffic fantasy league. And that's not to say I dislike the lap traffic fantasy league, but the short answer is no.
That's awesome. I love it. Oh, that's fantastic. All right, man. Where can everybody follow you on Twitter?
Follow me at Racing Cans. You could hear my fun slander of certain drivers, and their one fan likes to go back and forth, and it's neither here nor there as usual.
Fair enough. I love it. All right, man. Well, listen, thank you so much for taking a few minutes. Appreciate you as always. Can't wait to talk to you soon, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate you having me on, and let's do another 250.
I'm okay with that, man. All right, we'll catch you later.
Take care.
See ya. All right, Lap Traffic Nation, let's close this thing out with a little Lap Traffic fantasy. Just a reminder, get your picks in by 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Thursday. Keep the Twitter interaction up using hashtag LTFantasy. We got 5 more Cup races to go with everything in between before we set our playoff grid for this year's Fantasy League, which I'm very excited about. But right now, joining me on the line, he was the sole winner of Week High this week. You can follow him on Twitter at CamperNewsNet. He was a regular on the Wave Around Hotline. It's Matt Camper. Matt, what's going on, man? How are you?
I'm doing great, Brandon. How you doing?
I'm awesome, man. Thanks so much for taking some time to call in. Appreciate you. Let's see here, man. Let's start with this. What'd you think of the racing this weekend? The trucks race at Knoxville, Xfinity and Cup at Atlanta. What'd you think this weekend?
I did not get a chance to really see the Xfinity series. I was out all day on Saturday, but for the truck race, I catched a glimpse at the end, and just the wrecks. Oh, it's just absolutely just something I've never seen before. It took 4 attempts to green light checker finish, and there was a red flag in there. It was just absolutely just crazy. I'll say a crazy finish to the truck race. And as far as the Cup Series goes, I really thought when it came down to the end, the Busch brothers battling, that was just one heck of a battle. The battle was just incredible. The last 25 laps, that wake turbulence, I really thought Kurt Busch, that lap traffic may have helped Kyle Busch, but Kurt Busch really kept his cool, really got through that very well and was able to win that race. It was just a really incredible finish to the legacy of the existing surface at Atlanta. I've been saying I've really wanted Atlanta to be redone for a while, and I don't know after this one. Does it need to be repaved? Does it not? But I'm really looking forward to seeing what Atlanta has to offer with the new banking coming, and what's 2022 going to offer for Atlanta.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. I'm with you. You know, I think I think Kyle Busch, he gave it his all when he got to the side of him coming into one of the turns, and Kurt had the momentum on the high line, and I think Kyle used up everything that he might have had there for that, you know. But like you said, it was an epic battle, which was great, you know. And yeah, I said it a little while ago, you know, it's just so. I love the irony in that the week that they talk about doing the repave, they have to stop the race to fix the track, you know. So the irony there was just so perfect for me. So, you know, I'm ready, you know, for the change. Let's see what they've got.
Exactly. I also thought with the I was like, that was just an irony, as you said, Brandon. With the concrete coming up and then having to make sure that was safe for the drivers to race. That was just an absolute irony. And when I saw that, I was like, this is exactly why I thought Atlanta needed to be repaid, because, you know, you don't want a situation, you know, in the future where the track surface comes up and then you have somebody get hurt. So I'm glad that they are repaving it. What I saw as far as the surface coming up, that really showed me exactly why Atlanta needed to be repaved. I'm glad they made the right decision in the long run.
Yeah, no,
I think it's going to make more exciting racing. The drivers have said this over the last week. They don't agree with it being repaved, but they didn't agree with the Bristol dirt track. But you saw what we got at the Bristol dirt track, and it was incredible racing. If they thought it would be bad enough at the Bristol dirt, but it turned out to be an incredible race, wait until you see what we are going to see when Atlanta is officially repaved in time for next season. I think it's going to make for incredible racing.
Yeah, I love it. Well, one of them wait and see moments for sure. All right, man. Well, let's talk about the picks for this past week, man. You know, this was one of those weeks where if you went with the league standard as of late of Larson, Cindric, and John Hunter, you did not favor too well. And those that went outside of the norm were really able to pick up some ground, which you took advantage of that with Todd Gilliland in the Truck Series, AJ Allmendinger in the Xfinity Series, and you were one of 3 people that took Kurt Busch and got the payoff there. So 151 points. Nice job. You're sitting 8th in the segment 2 standings and sitting 13th overall. So nice job there. I went with the standards. I took John Hunter. I took Larson. I did go AJ, but I'm just trying to limp my way into the playoffs. So that was my strategy last week. So let's hit our top 10.
I'm sorry, Brandy, if I can just say this as far as what you said as far as this past week's picks. I've been towards the middle of the pack all year in the Laugh Traffic Fantasy League, and I was like, do I want to go with the norm, or do I want to try to see if I can get some points back? And that's why I decided to go with those 3 picks, because I need more points. And I wasn't sure. And, Kurt Busch, I wasn't sure. Todd Gilliland, I wasn't 100% sure. But it was a gamble, and it paid off. And I don't think I've ever had a points week in the Laugh Track Fantasy League like I did this week. That was just one heck of a run.
Excellent, man. I love it.
I really love the Fantasy League. This is definitely really competitive.
I love it. Thank you, sir. All right, let's hit our top 10 in segment 2. Still in first place with 1,001 points, it's Steven from DFS NASCAR. In second with 958 is Kristen Haglund. In third with 956 is Tony Salt. In fourth with 955 is Glenn Atkins. In fifth with 954 is Jeff Bevan. In sixth with 949 is Henry Fletcher. Seventh is Joseph Scampino with 939. Our guest this week, Matt Camper, is in 8th with 937. Stephanie Borges in 9th with 924. And Matthew Miles wraps out the top 10 with 922. Over to the bonus points, which Matt picked up 2 this week. In first is Henry Fletcher with 9. John Etwinsel in 8th. Carson Hagelin, Chad Robb, and Eric Sauter all have 6. And then there's just a slew after that. So if you make the playoffs, you're definitely getting some bonus points that carry through. And then over to our cumulative standings, our top 16 in first with 2144 is Henry Fletcher. We got a 2-way tie for second with 2,099 between Jeff Bevan and John Etwinsel. In third is Glenn Atkins with 2,083. In fourth is Jess Rose with 2063. Pete Curvin is in fifth with 2058. Yours truly is in sixth, along with Steven at DFS NASCAR with 2056. Fred Leclerc, 2034. Brad Carnes is in 8th, Josh Neal in 9th, Carson Hagelin wraps out the top 10 along with Michael from the Blind Spot Pod, Joe Hewson in 11th, David Mullins 12th, Matt Camper 13th, Charles LaPearl 14th, Michael Roller 15th, and John King in 16th. And what I love is that there's no big gap between anybody. It's pretty close, which is awesome. Matt, what do you say? You ready to make some picks for this week?
I am ready, Brandon.
All right, Lap Traffic Fantasy players, we are headed to New Hampshire this week. Last race before the 2-week break for the Olympics. Those that didn't take Cindric and Larson last week might have picked up some ground, as the common picks did not pay off this past weekend in Atlanta. Ford has a 3-race win streak at New Hampshire, but 2 of those wins are from the struggling Kevin Harvick. Can Ford pick up its 4th win in a row at New Hampshire? Chevy's last win also came at the hands of Kevin Harvick, who obviously drives for Ford now. You got to go all the way back to Ryan Newman's win in 2011 to have an active Chevy driver that still drives for Chevy. Will Chevy come to play this week and pick up a long overdue win? Can Denny Hamlin get to hold his favorite trophy? Who picks up ground in the league? We'll find out this weekend. But first, it's time for our picks. Matt, we'll start with you. Who is your pick for the Xfinity Series?
I am going to go with someone who has had a total of 2 top 10s and 1 top 5 in the last 4 races at New Hampshire, and that is Justin Allgaier.
Ooh, sir, I don't know if this is good news or bad news for you, but he is my pick as well this week. So we're both rolling with the 7 in the Xfinity Series. And how about the Cup pick, sir? Who are you going with in the Cup Series?
And I am going to go with someone who won at New Hampshire back in 2019, and that is Brad Keselowski.
Oh, sir, you and I have mirrored each other's picks. That doesn't happen too often. We're either gonna be looking like we know what we're doing, or I hope I don't jinx you, sir. So if you need to make a change because those are mine as well, I totally understand. All right, Matt. Well, listen, hey, man, I'm glad you were able to be on this week. Thanks for being a part of episode 250. Good luck this week, and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you, Brandon, and congratulations to you on your 250th episode.
Appreciate you. Everyone go follow Matt at Camper News Net. Matt, we'll catch you soon, man.
Okay, take care, Brandon.
See ya. All right. Lap Traffic Nation, it's time to close this thing out. We already did fantasy. Normally we close things out with fantasy, but it's episode 250. It's a special occasion. It's a milestone show, and anytime there is a milestone, this gentleman is going to be on the show. Lap Traffic Nation, joining me on the line, making his 18th appearance. You know who it is. It is the Orange Cone. Cone, what's up, brother?
Right, everyone's fantasy man right here.
That's right.
All right, you don't need to have a fantasy segment. You just need to have me on.
I love it, man. What's going on? How are you?
For the women who are into fat old guys with the dad bod situation going on, just so you know,
dad bods are a thing.
You're going to have to fight your way through a crazy Italian woman, but I'm your guy.
Head to back or back to head. What was that?
All right.
Oh, man. Well, welcome to the show, man. 18. I know we talked about it a little while ago. Here's my thought. We're going to get you on one more time between now and the fall for the 19th appearance. And what would just be the coolest thing in the world is if for episode 20, you were up here with the crazy Italian lady.
Yeah.
For episode 20, in person, we can recap ARCA and the end of the NASCAR season.
How about we do that? Let's plan on it.
I think that's a great idea there, sir. Yes. Well, listen, man, episode 250, you were the first guest ever on the show back on episode 10. Here you are 240 shows later on episode 250. Thank you so much, man.
No, thanks for letting me come on and talk racing all these times. It's one of my favorite things to do. And, you know, listening to the way the show has grown over the last several years has been a real treat. You know, I remember the early days, and it was a very fan oriented, you know, and there's a level of professionalism here, Brandon, that wasn't there, you know, back in the day.
I appreciate that,
and
man.
To listen to your show grow and to see the reception that it's gotten from others in the industry has been a lot of fun to see, pal.
Well, thank you.
Congrats on show 250.
Thank you so much, man. Oh, I got goosebumps. Thank you. Well, listen, man, let's talk a little ARCA. You guys had a slow start to the season, and that was because you guys like 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off, 3 weeks off, but you guys are in full throttle. You know what's been going on?
So we did have a slow start to the year. Our business model is still very ticket revenue oriented, and we kind of had a feeling that if we just waited towards the second half of the year that, you know, the country was going to get it together and kind of get the vaccination deal going, and the vaccine or the infection rates were going to kind of chill out a little bit. And, you know, that's what's happened. And obviously the country is well underway of reopening, and people are coming out to live events. And you know what? They've been dying to come out to live events. I mean, there is a huge demand for it. And, you know, we knew that if we were just patient, we get back into the swing of things. And we've had some short track races with just some incredible in-person crowds. We had a race out at Irwindale in California that sold every seat. 6,000 fans out there to watch an ARCA Menards West race. And, you know, it's great to see. But yeah, we're a little behind as far as the rest of the racing series with our points battles, and, you know, we're closing in on the midway point of our year, and it's going to be a very busy next couple of months. I think I've got one full weekend off between now and the middle of October. So, yeah, but this is what we're here for. We're here to go racing, and we've had a pretty good season to this point. Ty Gibbs and Corey Heim are just putting on a clinic, and, you know, you might think that it might get a little boring, you know, which of them is going to win, but, you know, they seem to find a way to make it exciting every weekend. So, you know, we're enjoying a pretty good championship battle between those two, and, you know, seeing the likes of Gracie Trotter and Jesse Love and Drew Dollar and all the other young up and coming drivers, Daniel Dye, Jack Wood. You know, there's a lot of talent that's making its way through the ARCA Menards series right now.
Absolutely. You know, and I've had the privilege of having some of these guys on, Drew Dollar, Mason Diaz, you know, and that's just to name a couple off the top of my head that come to mind. And I tell you what, and I know I've told you this on the show, the poise that some of these young guys have and gals in the ARCA series for being as young as some of them are is just incredible how they carry themselves. They know that this is their potential ticket to the big times, and they want to carry themselves as with high regard as possible. And I've been impressed with how, most 17, 18-year-olds, their heads down in their phone, and and it's, but they're articulate. They're able to have a conversation, which is awesome. So that's a testament, I'm sure, to you and your staff over there in terms of coaching these guys up to have great interviews, to get their name and their face out there, which is awesome.
Well, we don't have to do a whole lot of coaching, believe it or not. Most of these kids come to us pretty well trained. A lot of them have known from the time they were 5, 6, 7 years old that this is what they want to do. They've watched YouTube. They know how they're supposed to act. Some of them have gone through media training through their partners at Toyota or their respective manufacturers. From time to time, we do give them some pointers. But I think, in particular, a kid like Ty Gibbs, who started with us when he was, not even 16 years of age, to see where he has come in the last 2 years. Just a tremendous amount of progress. And, obviously we can't take all the credit there. We take very little of the credit as far as his interview skills, but he really has come a long way. It's 2 years when you're 18 years old. 2 years is a long time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah,
that frontal cortex lobe thing, whatever, is still developing and growing there. Absolutely.
Yep. So he's grown up a lot in the last couple of years, as has Corey Heim. And, we're the next couple that I'm really looking at, and I'm very high on. I had the pleasure of working with them all year last year out on the West. Jesse Love and Gracie Trotter. I just think the world of these two. I think they're great race car drivers. I think they're great young kids. They both finished second and third last week at Elko, and I'm looking for some really big things out of them here in the next couple of weeks as we go short track racing.
Well, awesome. Let's get them on the show some point down the road
let's
here,
do it,
sir.
Man. Let's do it.
Let's see here. Let's switch gears a minute. Speaking of kids and growing up, man, I've known you a while now, and the mini cones. I saw a picture on social media. They're not so mini anymore,
they're
are they?
As tall as me.
Saw you guys were out at the track. It's big smiles and all that, man. I'm glad to see that the family's doing well, sir.
Yeah, they've had a pretty good couple of weeks here. We did. We've done a night of destruction at Toledo Speedway. We've done some Flat Rock Speedway, late model races. We've done ARCA at Toledo. We've done, a couple of dirt races down at Eldora. We're going to go to Eldora again tomorrow night. We did the Redbud 400 at Anderson last night. We're going to go to Berlin for ARCA racing on Saturday. They've seen a lot of race car action so far this year, and they just eat it up. They love it.
That's awesome.
That is one of my favorite things is taking them and kind of showing them the inside, inside workings of the sport, and sitting through a couple of production meetings when you're at work, and then one of them looks at me and says, I had no idea how chaotic this job was. It's like, well, you never had any idea, because I'm just really good at what I
just
do.
make it look flawless.
I make it look really easy. That's why I am who I am.
That's right. There you
I'm
go.
not good, but it is really cool to kind of expose them to the inside of this deal. And I just enjoy going to the racetrack and hanging out with them more than anything. It's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Man, let's talk. You mentioned Eldora. First of all, I'm so jealous that Eldora is a drivable distance for a one night thing for you, because man, what I wouldn't give. We've had some legendary tweet ups at Eldora, man. What's up with the tweet ups? Are we getting back into the swing with those?
So I know Luck has had one. And of course that one was kind of organized by the guys over at Door Bumper Clear, including my best friend in the entire world, Brett Griffin. But I'll give those guys a lot of credit. They draw people, which is good. And, having a tweet up just to kind of get that thing reestablished, I think, is good. We did. We had so much fun with those up at Michigan and the ones we did down at Eldora. And, you know, I've been to them at Indy. I've been to them at Kentucky. And, you know, I've always had so much fun hanging out with race fans and the people that we know on Twitter. And, you know, Brandon, just so many wonderful memories over the years of seeing people that we know online and finally putting a face to the name. And, you know, I'm kind of jealous. I would like to get back to the racetrack and be in a position to go and do one of those. Maybe if we're able to go to the Cup weekend down in Indianapolis, I'll be able to participate in one of those. But yeah, man, I was looking at some pictures the other day of that one we did at Eldora. The one year you guys were down there, and there had to have been 70 people there.
At least. It was incredible.
At a truck race.
Yes.
70 people at a tweet up at a truck race.
Yes.
You know, that's incredible.
One of the coolest things was for me to participate in those was, one, it was like, oh, yeah, I think I've seen your name pop through my timeline on social media. And then to be able to maybe hand someone a sticker or a koozie, which starts a conversation, which starts an interaction on social. I mean, it was invaluable. Like, I couldn't put a price on some of those experiences to get to talk to people. Man. You know, it's incredible.
You know, that's how people ask me, you know, how'd you build such a big following on Twitter? And, you know, a lot of people are going to say, well, it's because they used to talk about him on TV all the time. And, you know, it's like, well, before that ever got to that point, you know, I created conversations with people. I created discussions and I included, you know, I worked really hard to really cultivate relationships, you know, person by person. And that's what it takes. And you guys have done a really nice job with that too.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Well, speaking of tweet ups and giveaways of the sort. So this week I've dedicated to the listeners as Listener Appreciation Week with episode 250. It's been outside of you and Aaron Studwell. It's been nothing but listeners on the show, which has been a blast to do that. And I've been doing a ton of giveaways this week. And I thought something cool would be is to see how far people listen into the show and you know, make a little trivia question to see the first person tomorrow that's able to respond with an answer to a question that I'm going to ask you right now. And so that's how we're going to do tomorrow, Wednesday's giveaway, is the first person that's able to tell me the year that the Orange Cone first went to MIS, his very first race, is going to win a lap traffic prize pack. So, Cone, tell everybody the year, and we'll see who the first person is. We'll tweet that out tomorrow morning.
Do I have to answer honestly?
All right, how about this? Your first recalled memory that you'd like to recall.
I know it. I know the answer to it. It doesn't. It makes me seem like an old man. You know, that's for sure. So the first time I ever went to MIS, my dad, when I was a kid, worked for Champion Sparkplug, so we would get tickets to go watch the Champion Sparkplug 400 up at Michigan. And the very first time I ever went up there was 1979.
1979. There you have it, guys. It's funny you mentioned Champion Spark Plugs. I have some very close friends of the family that used to work for Champion Spark Plugs. I wonder if they might know each other, and we'll have to have a conversation about that afterwards.
It was a pretty big company back in the day, but you know, if they worked here in Toledo, there's a real good chance they knew my dad and my grandfather.
That's awesome. I love it. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on, man. I know you know how much I appreciate you coming on. Where can everybody keep up with you on social media?
Well, I challenge you to follow me at the Orange Cone on Twitter and follow me for more than a couple of days. It's usually it's just me talking about, you know, my kids or my woman. We don't really talk a whole lot of racing there anymore, but you know, every now and then we'll get into some racing stuff. But life just is pretty busy with the full-time job to keep up with the Twitter account. But I got to tell you, I still I read it every day. I go through. I try to respond as I can to folks. It's obviously not what it once was, but I still really do enjoy it and have truly created so many lasting memories and great friendships. And it's put me in a position to do some really, really cool things and meet some really cool people. And I mean, who would have thought that someone would want to talk to an idiot who runs a Twitter account for a freaking traffic cone 20 times.
Right.
It's nuts.
Well, it's all right. So now this is really going a long road down memory lane here. So I'm going to tell you, and I'm not going to hold you accountable if you don't remember this, because it was a long time ago. I remember my very first tweet to you from my personal Twitter account long before the podcast. And that was...
Did I call you an idiot?
No, no, but I wouldn't have been surprised if you would have. I sent you a picture. The wife and I were at Bronner's in Frankenmuth, Michigan, and there was a 6-pack of Christmas ornaments of orange cones, and I tweeted you a picture of that, and you knew right away where I was at. And that was the first tweet that I ever sent you.
How about that?
Yes. Yes, so there's
how about
a
that?
fun little
Very
trip.
cool.
Yes,
very cool. And it is. Look, when you have, and I'm not bragging by any stretch of the imagination here, because it's follower count does not matter to me at all anymore. It's just it's a number. I'm more concerned about the relationships that are involved. But when you do have that many followers, at times you do get
inundated
a lot of interactions with people. But it is amazing how many of those initial interactions I can recall with people. There are a lot of people that they'll say, "Hey, do you remember this tweet?" And I'll be like, "Oh, yeah, you know what? I do remember that."
Yeah,
I do, and that was a lot of fun. And man, it's been a lot of fun. And 250 shows, man, that's a lot. It is. There are a lot of people who haven't stuck around that long. It's good for you guys, and it's quite a milestone. And like I said, I know there are a lot of you guys have a lot of drivers on here now, and I don't think that was even a pipe dream back in the day when you first started this thing. So it's not at all. It's really come a long way, man. You got to be proud of it.
I am. Thank you so much, man. Lapped Traffic Nation. Make sure you go follow the Orange Cone at the Orange Cone. And I think you'd probably rather you tune in to an Arca Menards race on TV. Come to one. All that good stuff. Yes, for sure.
Come to a short track race. You get to hear me work the PA at those things. Yes. We have a lot of fun. I got to tell you, man. We had a great crowd up at Elko last weekend, and we were getting ready to go live on MAV TV, and they've got those big metal grandstands, and I had the people stomping their feet and making noise for TV, and they give the command to fire engines, and completely unprompted they just start cheering, and it just gave me chills to hear those people get that excited over the command to start engines. It almost felt like we were at a cup race there for a little bit. I
love it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, I will let you go. Great to catch up with you, and look forward to talking to you real soon, man.
You got it, pal. Look forward to coming up and doing one in studio with you.
2 away, man. 2 away.
You got it.
All right, man. We'll catch you later. Well, Lab Traffic Nation, I did not think this one was going to go 2 hours. I apologize. Next week's show is going to be short, and I'm going to take a couple weeks off. So, hey, get you a long one now, and we'll get back to normal later. Man, huge thank you to everybody that was a part of episode 250 tonight. I got to tell you guys, this was so incredible, so much fun. I was so excited to get to talk to a lot of you guys. Oh man, just words cannot describe what that means. That's gonna do it. If you haven't figured that out for episode 250, make sure you check out the website, thelabtrafficpodcast.com, Facebook, The Lab Traffic Podcast, Twitter, at Lab Traffic PC, TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, all at Lab Traffic PC. Huge thanks to Aaron Studwell, Scott Wagner, Mick Rose, Andrew Khantzian, Matt Camper, Jumpy Bob, the guys over at the Lugs podcast, the Orange Cone, and of course, a huge thank you to my wife, as I've mentioned a couple times tonight on the show, who is just so supportive and encourages me to do this on a weekly basis, because without that, I probably wouldn't be here. So huge thank you to Lindsay. Next week, working on somebody for that. Don't get caught chasing the lucky dog. Make sure you tune in each and every week to the Lab Traffic Podcast. See ya!